So I'm gonna react to this tragedy that happened. Um, it's all over the news right now, and it sounds like some James Cameron type stuff. Like apparently, a submersible was on its way to the Titanic, and it never came back up. And it's been gone since Sunday. They only have a limited time oxygen. It's only 5 people. They don't know where they at. This sounds like the Nutty Putty incident. It's just with the Titanic. But I found the original video they did last year. I don't know too much about the submarine, so let's just check it out. And I'll share my thoughts at the end of this video.
Scientists, until now.
It's a very unusual business. It's its own category. It's a new type of travel.
Stockton Rush is the CEO of OceanGate, a company that offers dives to the Titanic in a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible for $250,000 per person. Who are the typical clientele for these missions?
We have clients that are Titanic enthusiasts, which we refer to as Titaniacs. We've had people who have mortgaged their home to come and do the trip. And we have people who don't think twice about a trip of this cost. We had one gentleman who had won the lottery.
And this summer, Rush invited us to come along. We departed from St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, the easternmost tip of North America, about 400 miles from the Titanic. That's the last we'll be seeing of land for 8 days. Aboard a chartered oil rig servicing ship. During our 2-day journey into the North Atlantic, we got to know our fellow adventurers. They included everyone from Indian industry mogul Shrenik Baldota.
Yeah, they call me a wild monk.
The wild monk?
Yeah, because I look like a monk. I'm very calm, but I have these extreme interests.
To bank executive Renata Rojas.
I'm trying to fulfill a dream. I've been wanting to go to Titanic and see it with my own eyes since before they found it.
She's been saving up to see the Titanic for 30 years.
Dreams don't have a price. Some people want a Ferrari, some people buy a house. I wanted to go to Titanic.
But the star of the show is the Titan, Stockton Rush's custom-built submersible. 5-inch thick carbon fiber, capped on each end by a dome of titanium. If all went well, I myself would be spending about 12 hours sealed inside on a dive to the Titanic. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
Oh! Take your shoes off, that's customary.
Okay. Wow. Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet, sort of. And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! It seems like this submersible has some elements of MacGyver-y jerry-riggedness. I mean, you're putting construction pipes as ballast.
I don't know if I'd use that description of it, but there's certain things that you want to be buttoned down. So the pressure vessel is not MacGyver at all, because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
But when expedition manager Kyle Bingham studied the forecast for our Titanic dive, he concluded that the waves would be too big to launch the sub.
We're looking at 6 feet, and then it bumps up a little bit.
Our Titanic adventure would have to wait. But Stockton Rush offered our CBS crew a consolation dive to the continental shelf 80 miles away. Apparently there's a lot of sheer cliffs underwater to see, shark breeding ground. They say it's really cool. The crew closes the hatch from the outside. with 17 bolts. There's no other way out. Here's how the launch is supposed to go. The sub is attached to a huge floating platform. Motorboats drag it down the big orange ramp into the sea.
We're in the water, we're floating. Woo!
They are going to come and prepare the platform for the next phase, which is the sinking.
The platform submerges to around 30 feet, where the water is much calmer than on the surface.
You're in the water, people.
Divers detach the sub from the platform, and away you go, in theory.
Hull integrity, holding.
And what happened next? You won't be disappointed, as we'll show you a little later on Sunday morning.
What happened? There's no way, bro.
Our dive in the OceanGate submersible had made it down only 37 feet when this happened.
So apparently those floats there came off the platform, and that wasn't supposed to happen. It's over.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I was crushed. My diving adventures were over.
Every expedition has its challenges, all of them. I have not been in one expedition where things have to be adjusted, adapted, changed, or canceled at the end of the day. You're at the mercy of the weather.
Renata Rojas speaks from painful experience. Over the years, she's been booked on 3 Titanic expeditions. All 3 were canceled.
You just cry a lot and just keep the dream alive, because it's something that I have to do.
Our expedition had to wait out 2 more days of rough seas. Fortunately, there's a lot to do in the North Atlantic.
I'm the king of the surface vessel!
There's sea life, ship tours, atmospheric effects, and that, my friends, is called a fog bow. You can also hang out with scientists. Researchers like deep-sea biologist Steve Ross and ocean archaeologist Rob Mather join every expedition. In effect, the passengers are funding their science. How scientific is this expedition?
I don't do show science. So our job is to do real and important and valid work.
While you're down there, will you look for this giant heart-shaped diamond on a chain?
I think that's not there.
On our 6th day at sea, the weather cleared. The dive was a go.
Titan sitting at 3742 meters, reports on bottom.
But that was the last of the good news.
I said, do you know where we are? 100 meters to the bow, then 470 to the bow. If you are lost, so are we.
There's no GPS underwater, so the surface ship is supposed to guide the sub to the shipwreck by sending text messages.
Turn 30 degrees right?
Probably, yeah, 30 degrees.
But on this dive, communications somehow broke down. The sub never found the wreck.
We were lost. We were lost for 2.5 hours.
Rush says he'll offer those passengers a free do-over next year. And that's just one cost of doing this business. Are you making money on this operation?
No. So, not yet. People might say, hey, that's a lot of money, $250,000. But we went through over $1 million of gas.
It was our last day at sea. There was one last chance to reach the Titanic. And this time, good weather and good fortune were aligned.
Slow down, it's just in front of us. Just we are in front of the anchor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, here's the bow,
do it
guys.
Again, yeah.
You guys see it?
Look at that though, how it just kind of emerges out.
Yeah.
That is it. That is otherworldly.
Now, Titanic tourism has its detractors, but these expeditions don't disturb the wreck or retrieve artifacts, and Stockton Rush says that they're valuable to history.
At some point, there will be no Titanic. It will be eaten by the bacteria.
Stockton Rush plans.
All right. This is really bad. I wouldn't do that. I mean, just for the fact that you're sealed inside from the outside, they said it has 17 bolt. You're bolted in. So those passengers that's trapped, they don't have no way to get out. They're underwater. It just sounds like an accident waiting to happen, in my opinion. Seemed like this submarine was a death trap in the get-go. Now, people can do whatever they want with their money. I mean, if you have the money to do it, then hey, that's your prerogative. But the fact that this thing is pretty much handmade is really bad. It was an accident waiting to happen. And this is no disrespect to the people on board. Hopefully they're alive, because I know that's somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's brother. So the chances of that happening are really slim. I mean, they've been gone since Sunday. They only had 96 hours of oxygen left. It just seemed like if they're not on the surface, then it's a death trap. It's really sad though. I just keep thinking about the dude in the Nutty Putty Cave. It seemed like this is a similar situation, but it seemed like, and I'll say this respectfully, that they're going to be next to their gravesite is going to be next to the Titanic. I don't see how they can get them up. Even if they could get them up, it's still, they will burst. Their bodies will burst open because they've been down so long. So it's pretty much a no-win situation. Hopefully they're on the surface, but this thing is a movie waiting to happen. It sounds like that the sub was a tragedy waiting to happen, and at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, they knew what they signed up for. It's just crazy to think that as I make this video, it's a possibility that they're underwater next to the Titanic with no way to get out. So that's something to think about. But what do you guys think about this? Would you do this? It just sounds like a crazy idea, accident waiting to happen. And it makes you value life, I mean, I'm comfortable watching the Titanic either on the movie screen or just documentaries. That's just me. But what do you guys think about this situation? Share your thoughts below, comment below, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.